Hey, what's up guys? Kai here, and welcome back to Let's Play Valkyrie Profile 2 Silmeria, where I'm still salty about our showdown with Freya being staged, but that's okay because I now have my collector's edition of Star Ocean 5, so all is well. Alright, in the last episode we had a run-in with a not-so-happy Freya, and it was thanks to Hrist's intervention that we were able to walk away from that encounter in one piece. Afterwards, we reclaimed the Dragon Orb, released Brahms from his prison, and escaped via the water mirror, again, all thanks to Hrist, who, along with Brahms, joined our party. But we'll talk about them in just a little bit. First, let's take a look around Lizard's little pocket dimension at the Tower of Lizard Valeth, the final dungeon in the game. What is it with psychotic JRPG villains and towers anyway? Is it an ego thing or something? I don't know.
I knew it was you, Lenneth. I've been waiting. I could sense you back in Japan. Did Freya call you here? No. I am not the Valkyrie you know. I am Lenneth the Creator. I have come from an alternate future to save my own world.
Alternate future?
The world after Ragnarok, where Odin is no more. I see. So, I take it we owe this visit to the time machine in Dipan Castle. Lizard's visit, not mine. He is a heretic, a man who has come from my time, the future. I sealed off the machine to keep humans away, but I should have destroyed it. And thus my world has begun to crumble.
Why is that?
Silmeria. You were supposed to have saved her. But Lizard, of course, got in the way. What is that madman planning? I imagine he's attempting to acquire Odin's power and become a god. He acquired the Philosopher's Stone and was the only human to survive Ragnarok.
A future where Lizard is the only human? Pardon me if I'm not eager to maintain that.
The flow of time is in perpetual flux. The future may be changed, but time is not to be bent to the will of one man. Wasn't defeating Lizard the original reason you came to serve Hrist?
They do not serve me. We joined forces to save Silmeria.
In that case, we should get along well.
What do you mean? Aw, yeah. As if we didn't have enough badasses in our party already, now we have Lenneth. Alright, so as she mentioned, she is not Lenneth Valkyrie. She is Lenneth the Creator. And if you haven't played the first game, that title probably won't mean a whole lot to you. And I'm not going to spoil the events of the first game, or go into too many details, but this version of Lenneth basically acquired the power of creation and is more or less all-powerful. But let's take a look at Hrist first, who recently experienced a change of heart. Up until now, she's been depicted as the emotionless, cold-hearted officer of Odin who mercilessly carried out his orders without question. But as we saw in the last episode, she's tired of her Einherjar being treated like worthless puppets, even if they are just tools in the grand scheme of things. And she stood up to Freya saying, "You know what? Enough is enough. I'm done with you guys." Kinda reminds me of when another Valkyrie denounced their allegiance to the gods. Anyway, it's good to see Hrist set aside her differences with us and is willing to work with us to achieve the common goal of defeating Lizard and saving Silmeria. Although she also wants to rescue Odin, but sometimes you gotta take the bad along with the good, right? But I really like this part of the game because we actually received some good character progression and growth for Hrist. What a concept, right? So one unique thing about Hrist is that she has the highest natural agility stat in the game. So if you're ever wondering why she's dodging more than other characters, that's because, well, she is. And because of that, I want to put her at the front of my party. Another interesting thing about Hrist is that she is able to equip her sword that she threw at us earlier in the game. Nice touch, developers. Nice touch. So her weapon of choice is of course the Halberd, and she does come with a mithril plate already, which is very nice. And I have her set up to learn God Destroyer right now. And she does come with every skill that you already taught Leone earlier in the game, which is why I took the time to do that. And for her attacks, I switched them around a little bit. I'm going to be using Sideswiper and then Trial of Existence first. But she also has an attack that drags enemies closer to her. Yeah, I think she's the only character that has an ability that does that. And now let's take a look at Brahms, who also joined our party in order to save Silmeria, whom he cares a great deal about. And he cares about defeating Lizard. Doesn't care so much about Odin. In fact, he could care less about Odin. And despite being Lord of the Undead, Brahms just wants to do what's right. Good guy, Brahms. Stands up against oppression, be it from any god. And Brahms makes the best tank in the game, in my opinion, because he has a really high natural HP pool and a really high constitution stat, making his defense above average. Now, Brahms also comes with every skill that you taught Dylan earlier in the game, but he also comes with God Destroyer, which is very nice. And his weapon of choice are Knuckles, and these are really good for him because they come with the ability to sometimes drain HP when he's attacking, further making him the best tank in the game because you don't have to waste an accessory slot to get that same effect. Now I have him learning, I think it's Dragon Slayer right now. Yeah, I just want to get Hrist and Brahms caught up on some of the skills. And for his attacks, I switched him around a little bit as well. Going to be using Ravaging Rush and then Bloody Knuckle, but he also has an uppercut attack. Oh, you know what? I need to Get rid of that, and get rid of that, because Brahms, just like Hrist, is able to equip a unique weapon, and it's the weapon that you get for leveling up Dylan in Chapter 4. Again, nice touch. Yeah, Brahms would make a decent tank, but I'm going to make him a damage dealer and give him Sword of the Meek. Don't worry, in battle he'll still be using his fists, so you guys can see those special animations. And now, let's get Lenneth in the party. She is basically just like Alicia, being a light warrior, only she's better in pretty much every single way. She has all of the same white magic that Alicia does, but Lenneth also learns all of the good buffs and debuffs. Yeah, comes with Might Reinforce, gotta love it. She also comes equipped with the Glance Reviver, which is the same weapon she had at the end of Valkyrie Profile 1. Again, nice touch game. It's too bad this version is a lot weaker than the other one, but that's okay, because we're going to give her the Valkyrie's Favor. Whoa, 666 attack? Yeah, we're going to change that. Again, she comes with some pretty decent equipment, but I do want to give her a Mithril Plate for the Elemental Resists, and a Rune Crown for the Magic Boost. And I'm not sure what skills I want to teach her yet. She comes with a couple, although nothing too special. You get Heroism, Force Field 1000, and that's it. Now for her attacks, I want to give her Moment Slide, and then Bolt Slash. Yeah, that looks good. And this is going to be the party that I'll be using for the final dungeon, but you know what? Because the world is in imminent peril, now's the best time to go dick around and do side quests. So let's do that. Okay guys, we're back here at the Armory in Crell Monferaigne, where I want to do a little bit of item crafting, and I've already taken the time off screen to sell all of the items needed to make the almighty Conqueror's Armor, and I'll be sure to list those items down below in the video description for anybody who might be playing along. Let's see just how good that piece of armor is. It can only be worn by heavy warriors, and Brahms is technically considered to be a heavy warrior, and that's who I want to give this to. Keep an eye on his stats. Yeah, look at those stat gains. Defense nearly doubles, attack went up by over 100. It is amazing. Now the drawback is you do lose 20% resistance to all elements, but it does make you damn near immune to instant death, frailty, and transfer. Very, very good piece of armor. It is obscene. But we're going to give that to him anyways. Alright, next stop is... I want to go back to Kalstad, so I'll just meet you there. Alright guys, here we are back in Kalstad. Remember earlier there was that little boy who was asking us for money, and he told us to come back when the world was about to end and he would have something for us? Well, let's go see what that is. Oh, there you are. Hey, what's up? Well, you're welcome. Pay it forward, I always say. Ah. But you're just a 6-year-old kid. How good of a blacksmith could you possibly be? Well, for giving him 300 off earlier, you get this weapon. I don't even know how you would pronounce that properly, and I'm not going to try. Well, let's take a look at that. It is actually the strongest weapon in the game for heavy warriors outside of the overpowered bonus weapons. But if you didn't do this side quest and you still want to get this weapon, don't worry, because you do find one of these in the final dungeon. And if you gave him any less than 300 off, he will give you a Sunshower Sword instead. Oh really? Ah, if only that were true. Yeah, as far as I know anyways, this is the end of this side quest, and this kid won't give you any more items. If I'm wrong, please feel free to correct me and I will look into that. Okay, so the next place I want to go to is Coriander for some more item crafting, so I'll just meet you there. Okay guys, here we are at the Traveling Merchant in Coriander, where I want to sell Hrist's default weapon. By the way, it is worth mentioning that it is Holy Elemental, but I prefer to go with a physical setup with her rather than an elemental one. So I want to go ahead and give her a new weapon, which is a Basilisk, which, as the name might imply, will randomly petrify enemies